We are back, and now the biggie, odds to win the Super Bowl. Let's run these down for you. These are the teams that we think have the best chance here. The Broncos are plus 1,500. The Colts plus 450. Vikings plus 400. Patriots plus 450. The Saints plus 400. The Steelers, the defending champs, plus 700. And then the Eagles plus 1,400. I look at this, and I'm looking at the Steelers to repeat again at plus 700. I like them. I like the Saints plus 400, and I like the, I'd say the Colts at plus 450 and the Vikings at plus 400. They would be my quartet, my favorite four.
The great thing about the Steelers at plus 700 is if they get to the Super Bowl, huge hedge opportunity with the other side.
Exactly, exactly.
So I really like taking a team where I have a chance to hedge down the road, so the bigger the number, the better.
Yeah, exactly. And listen, you know, the Steelers get to the Super Bowl, you know they're going to be favored because you've got the defending champs back, and there you've got another chance to hedge in middle versus the point spread because you know you've got the favorite, but you've got plus money
on both sides.
Exactly. So that's the game that I would, the team that I would isolate. I don't think the Eagles, the Patriots, the Broncos, no way. I don't think they win it. You know, the Vikings, you know, I don't bet against Brett Favre too often, guys.
I agree with that. I think the Vikings are playing strong. They got a real shot. Broncos, playing great this year, comeback Cinderella story. Not going to be anywhere near the Super Bowl, though.
No, and the Colts, I don't think they have the running game. I don't think you win a Super Bowl unless you can run the ball effectively. They can't run the ball.
They would have to get healthy and get healthy quick to have a chance to compete the Colts.
Yeah, and although they played well defensively this year, they don't have a dominating defense, and that just isn't unless you're the Arizona Cardinals or the St. Louis Cardinals from a few years ago, St. Louis Rams, when Kurt Warner was directing the fastest show on earth, you just don't win offensively in the Super Bowls.
No, defense wins Super Bowls.
Okay, so that'll do it with our future plays. And one thing, you know, at customer service, probably one of the biggest questions we get week in, week out is about your cruise. And first of all, you know, Steve, a former bookmaker for 20-some years, and of course the creator and the founding father, more or less, of the offshore sportsbook industries. One of your successes, you are not a handicapper. I'm a handicapper. You are not a handicapper, but you release plays based on your sources and your contacts based on all your years as a bookmaker. Right. So why don't we talk for just a minute about some of those crews that you rely on and how you get your information and get your plays.
Well, when I first switched sides from taking the bets to advising people who to bet on, I played mostly a background role. You know, I was the CEO of the company. First thing I did was bring you on board, instituted your philosophy across our complete platform. We went ahead, we picked up the best handicappers in the country. We put them together on one site. That was a first. And then as the years went on, we had this idea. And the idea was, look, I've been around this business 25 years, pioneered the offshore gambling business, was a bookmaker in the street before that. There isn't a player, a crew, a source that I don't know and don't have contact with, whether they used to bet with me back in the day or actually worked for me and now are working for a bigger organization out there taking plays from wise guys. So with this type of access, look, my crews are simply my sources. I call them crews because I call everybody crews. That's how I am. But the truth is that they're streaky and they win and lose just like you. But the key is with me in the middle, I'm able to look at them, monitor them, and only when they're hot, for the first time ever, release these plays that have never been released to the public before, to the public. And now, over the last 3 years, we're looking at probably up close to 1,500 dimes in profits in football alone, let alone close to 2,000, dimes of profit in all sports. And I think for football, in the last 3 years, we're hitting close to 75, 78%. I mean, it's been wonderful.
Right, and another thing, let's also point out that this not only comes from your sources and background, but also with your late father. I mean, these are some reliable contacts and stuff that have go back, I'm sure, 40, 50 years?
Sure, absolutely, especially crews like the Freehold Wise guys. These are guys that my dad used to sit at Freehold Raceway with and book their bets. So he knows them 30 years. Obviously, that contact was passed on to me, and when the time is right, I release the play.
One funny thing, though, that you once wrote back and had me write back to a customer, and we put it on the website, like the Cali Cartel.
Right.
There's not a bunch of guys running around in Silicon Valley with T-shirts that say, "Hey, we're the Cali Cartel."
Right. These are nicknames that I give these people, and I give them the nicknames so that we can track them, and the customers can know who they are. If I gave their real names, it wouldn't last too long.
Yeah, exactly. There is something about being discreet in our business. Okay, so hopefully that helps you understand where, like for example, last week, the Costa Rica connection. Past 2 weeks, in fact, they have cashed in with 2 big underdog releases for you. That has an interesting background.
Costa Rica connection, obviously I started the offshore sportsbook business in Panama, moved it to Costa Rica, wound up, filling out Costa Rica with the entire infrastructure necessary for them to become the hubcap of sports betting like they are now. One of the guys that worked for me was my head clerk at the time. He now is the head clerk of the top offshore place. Can't mention their name, wouldn't want them to know what I'm doing, but every time a wise guy comes in and double bangs a game, I'm the first one to know and my customers are the second.
Exactly. So that's the type of information you get, and that's the type of contacts you can bring to the table.
And I want to mention, this has never been done before with online handicapping. Every other site, every other person you see is just a handicapper with their own opinion. With me, I stay away. I give my own opinion on the show, but when it comes to a special release, that's going to be a release from someone whose opinion I respect, someone whose opinion is just way ahead of your man on the information chain.
Exactly. So that'll do it. Listen, guys, we've got 2 more games to break down. We're going to take a look at the Colts, Texans, and the Giants, Chargers, and we'll be back in just a moment.